Hey, right now there's a lot of talk about the Democrats needing to impeach the president. I don't think that's a good idea at all. In the short term, I think it'll blow up a bomb that exists that's a lot bigger than they know. This push of America to the right through talk radio and Fox News and all that stuff, this has been going on a long time. And what we saw happen in DC, it's just a scratching of the surface. Democrats or anybody for that matter who says, oh, okay, been there, done that, let it go, let's put it behind us. You don't realize this thing isn't, we haven't seen the end. All we've seen is the end of the beginning. It's just starting. So doing something like pushing the man out of office, I mean, this close to the end of his term, it'd be a huge mistake. And I think there's a fuse that if you did that would light and explode in a way that you really haven't thought through yet. Secondly, the other thing is we need to clean the house. Specifically, the Republicans do. By removing Trump from office, if he's impeached, that makes him ineligible to run for the presidency. And if he is still eligible, that is to say, if we don't impeach him, I know the guy. I figured he's a narcissist. He's a megalomaniac. He will run again. And the people who support him, they will be there. They will support him again, which will give the Republican Party 4 years from now an opportunity to do the right thing, to tell the president to fuck off and tell people who support him to fuck off. That would be the right thing to do. But if they do like they did this last time for political reasons, you know, put all their morality aside. I mean, look at the example of Lindsey Graham and Ted Cruz and their expressions as to how they felt about the man during the primary season 4 years ago. I mean, these guys were calling each other and each other's mother, everything you could think of. You know, they hated each other. And who's Trump's biggest, cheerleaders today? Lindsey Graham and Ted Cruz. For political reasons, these guys sold their ass. It's gross to hear these guys talk about, the president being such a great guy and how much they support him. When you reflect back on, they're expressing their true feelings about the guy. He's the same guy today he was when he was talking shit about Ted Cruz's wife and accusing Ted Cruz's father of being in on the Kennedy assassination and all this stuff with him and Lindsey. I won't get into it. But it's just disgusting what happens over there in the Republican Party. Just as disgusting as Barack Obama pulling Klobuchar and Buttigieg, telling them to get the hell out of the race and to throw their weight behind Biden just before Super Tuesday so as to unite the party's support behind anybody but Bernie Sanders. Both political parties are corporately owned nowadays. I'm no fan of fucking Barack Obama's either, or Biden's. This is a choice between the lesser of two evils. This is a time when the parties have to clarify what the hell they stand for, if anything. We're going to find out. We got full control on the Democratic side now. We control the Congress and the White House. What are they going to do with their fucking power? We'll see. But if we take Trump out of the game, it's going to rob the Republicans from doing the right thing and telling Trump and people who support him to get the hell out of the Republican Party. And if the Republican Party doesn't do that in 4 years, if Trump is still viable, then I would think that good Republicans, people of good heart, people who are decent and Republican today, will bolt the party the way indecent Democrats bolted the party in the 1960s, because the Democratic Party did the right thing in supporting the Civil Rights Act and the Voting Rights Act. When all those white Democrats jumped out of the party because the Democratic Party finally got on board full speed ahead on delivering what had been kept from black Americans for so long, their rights as American citizens. Because the party finally did the right thing, Dixiecrats all bailed and became Republicans overnight, and Nixon loved it. It became the Southern strategy that's been in place up to this day. That's the point I'm trying to make. The thread that Trump supporters have, and it's no more elegant than this, it's racism. I'm sure there are a lot of people who are Trump supporters who like to think of themselves as not being racist, but you are. You might not recognize it, but you are, and that's why you like this guy. Because when he sees people of color, or immigrants, or Muslims, or someone who looks like me, he doesn't like what he's seeing. And you're the same way. So, it's time to clean the house in both parties. And removing Donald Trump from office is going to rob the Republican Party of an opportunity to do that. Not to mention the fact that if you do it, you're immediately going to have, a huge, American shit pie blow up in your face that ain't going to be very nice. So they ought to just back off, let the guy, sleaze out of town. He's already announced he's not going to be at the inaugural. That's good. Nobody wants to see his ass anymore anyway. Let him go. Let him leave DC the same way he came in, with no class. It would be a huge mistake to remove the guy from office. Do not impeach. Call your Congress people. Call if you're a Sacramentan, get a hold of Mrs. Matsui and tell her no on impeachment.